Turmeric or Haldi may be called as the king of Indian spices. Indians love turmeric and it sure gives the Indian curries a distinctive flavor. But people claim that it has anti-inflammatory, anti-pyretic, anti-cancer, anti-this and anti-that properties. My regular viewers may remember that I had done a video titled Turmeric Will Waste Your Time, Money and Health, where I spoke about why turmeric may not be a good medicine after all, contrary to what this country thinks. You can visit this link above to know my take on it. But today, I have none other than the Liverdoc, Dr. Abby Phillips, to talk about it for my viewers. This video was published on his channel, the Liverdoc, and he graciously gave me permission to use it on my channel in order for this information to reach more eyes and ears. Thank you so very much, Abby. Viewers, please definitely do check out his own YouTube channel, the Liverdoc, the link to which can be found here and on the description box below. Dr. Abby is a well-known liver specialist and he specializes in herb-induced liver injuries or HILI and has published many scientific papers on the subject. He is most active on Twitter and it was one of his tweets that had the turmeric worshippers ganging up on him. So without wasting any more time, let's hear it from Dr. Abby Phillips. Doc, please tell us about your recent tweets and the hostility that you got for it.
Hi. So recently I've been very active on Twitter and I've been tweeting on a lot of topics from liver disease, liver health. I've been even talking about a lot of pseudoscientific practices like Ayurveda, homeopathy, how a lot of patients actually land up in trouble using herbal medicines or land up in trouble using homeopathic remedies, etc. And I get a lot of responses from my followers and friends on Twitter. But there is one specific thing that actually stands out. And that is, when I tweet about turmeric, I get a huge backlash from the general population or general community, patient population, even the patients who follow me and even the doctors who follow me. I get a huge backlash and I was very surprised because when I say, when I talk about other topics, I don't get that kind of backlash from people normally. But when it comes to turmeric, everybody takes it so personally, and I thought maybe I did something wrong, because everybody seems like they're having a good time with turmeric and turmeric is actually saving a lot of lives. But when I went back and checked again, any scientific evidence to actually recommend or as a preventive or a treatment for any disease condition, the role of turmeric, I could not find any. In fact, when I checked, there were thousands and thousands of studies done on turmeric. And these are the studies that actually a lot of people put up as responses on my tweets on turmeric, under my tweets on turmeric, but they actually have not gone through those studies well. They just type it on Google, see a study on turmeric and just copy paste that link on my timeline. But what I would want to do with this video is that a lot of things cannot be actually in detail written on Twitter because of character limitations. So I thought maybe I should just come here and talk about why people should realize that turmeric is not a medicine and turmeric is actually not good for any clinical condition as a preventive or as a therapeutic agent, as a treatment. But there is something that turmeric is extremely good at, and that is flavoring your curries.
You say there are a lot of research done on turmeric. Can you throw some light on them and their findings?
So when I tweeted about turmeric as not useful in cough and colds, I really meant that. It is not to offend anybody who is a turmeric worshipper or a lover of turmeric, but this is the truth. Now, when people ask me, why do you say that turmeric is not useful for any disease conditions, even though there are so many research articles on it, there are so many studies done on it, and some doctors even actually prescribe it or ask patients to actually take it. There are real doctors who do that. So why do I alone say that it is not useful? So it is not me alone. There are a lot of other well-meaning clinical scientists and clinicians otherwise who actually have written large review articles and blog entries, scientific blog entries on why turmeric is absolutely useless for any disease condition or for any preventive therapy for that matter. So let's go to the first part of it. The first part is that there are lots of researches on turmeric. It is true, I think it is one of the most highly researched spice or compound in the world. So much of money, resources, manpower, everything has been spent on researching turmeric. Second point to note is that turmeric is not equal to curcumin. So a lot of people actually put up data on curcumin when I talk about turmeric. So curcumin is actually the bioactive component in turmeric, which scientists believe is responsible for whatever effects that you see in the studies. So whole turmeric is different from curcumin. Curcumin is the bioavailable or the bioactive form of turmeric, which separately has been studied. So there are studies on whole turmeric and there are studies on curcumin based formulations also. But when we discuss, we will discuss this as equal, because the outcomes and whatever we have seen as part of research studies are almost the same when you use curcumin or turmeric.
But turmeric is a favorite with Indian mothers, right? Not just for flavoring their curries, but as a medicine for illnesses. I mean, they give this name golden milk for turmeric mixed with milk.
When you actually talk about turmeric and its benefits, you have to know that if you directly take turmeric, that is, for example, mix it with a glass of water, warm water, or mix it in milk. That is the commonest style of turmeric use in India, where they mix turmeric in warm milk and have it. That's known as Haldi doodh. And Haldi doodh is like a panacea. It's like a cure-all for everything. So if you have a pain here, if you have a pain there, you have a fever, you have some sore throat, you have a cough, mothers and grandmothers will give you Haldi doodh and say everything will be fine. And the actual evidence is that if you take turmeric directly, mixed or without mixed, in food and or in haldi doodh or in water, it does not get absorbed. There is something known as bioavailability, which means when you take something in, a part of that has to go inside your body, into your blood and into your organs and tissues. So turmeric actually has very poor bioavailability. So if you take 100 grams of turmeric, about 93 to 94% of that actually goes in your stool. You pass it out in the toilet. It does not get absorbed in your body. So if you take a pinch of turmeric, put it in a milk and drink it, actually whatever goodness that you're getting is actually from the milk and nothing from the turmeric, because milk is nicely metabolized and absorbed in the body. You get all the proteins out of it, but not turmeric. Turmeric is going to get wasted in your stool. It's going to go out in your toilet. So there is no point in putting a pinch of turmeric here and there and having it, because it is not going to get absorbed. Now, to increase absorption, so that turmeric gets absorbed in the body, people have come out with a lot of new stuff. For example, the most common thing that they do is to add pepper to it. So when you add pepper to turmeric, the absorption of turmeric increases in the body, and that can go even up to 10 to 20 times the absorption. And that absorbed part is what actually causes whatever effect that you see.
Okay, so a pinch of turmeric is not going to help you. Got that. However, there are turmeric or curcumin based supplements that are quite popular in the market. Do they have any benefits?
Now, when you look at the studies on turmeric, initial studies were all on large quantities of turmeric alone, and it was not actually turmeric preparations that are well absorbed. So the large quantities of turmeric, for example, if you want to have some effect, some absorption into your body from turmeric, you have to have turmeric weighing as much as a small baby. You should have kilograms of turmeric every day, so that some turmeric gets absorbed in your body for it to have some effect on it. And that is impossible, because you are not going to have 2 or 3 kilograms of turmeric every day. It's impossible, which means whatever little turmeric you are having is actually not going to help you. So come to the supplements, where they actually add turmeric along with pepper or piperine, and that actually increases absorption. This is all fine, right? So it increases absorption, so you can actually get the benefit of turmeric. So they have actually identified that turmeric has anti-inflammatory properties, it has anti-cancer properties, it has antimicrobial properties, anti-infective properties, antiseptic properties, you name it. Every anti property it has. But the problem is that, or the actual real evidence is that, all of these properties are identified in cell studies and tissue studies and in small animal studies. None of this are actually fully comprehensible or identifiable in human studies. So when somebody tells me that, when you say turmeric is useless, you are actually saying wrong. No, I'm actually saying it right, because turmeric is useless in humans as a treatment option, because whatever benefits that you see at the molecular level because of turmeric is being done in the lab setup. It's been done on tissues and cells and small animals, and whatever they have measured are actually investigational parameters. For example, they measure some inflammatory markers, they measure some infective markers, they measure some anti-cancer markers. So these are just molecular level stuff that they have identified as an effect of turmeric. Now, to say that you have these findings in the lab, so you will have that findings in the human body too, is actually wrong. Because when you find something in the lab, you actually have to you have a hypothesis, and you have to actually show that it is going to be the same inside a human body, and because of which specific clinical outcomes are improved. For example, if somebody has severe pharyngitis, throat pain or throat infection, and you give turmeric, what you have to look at is that the throat pain reduces, the severity of the throat pain reduces, the throat pain actually does not progress, it does not get secondarily infected, and normally a throat pain that is supposed to go away within a week should go away within a couple of days. So these are the clinical endpoints that you have to look at. So none of that is actually proven in clinical studies with the use of turmeric. So even if you take turmeric or not, your throat pain is going to go away in 1 week's time. That is what human studies have identified.
Is turmeric good for relieving pain?
So patients with osteoarthritis, there are studies that say that patients with osteoarthritis, when they take turmeric, their knee pain reduces. But the fact is that most of these studies are actually subjective. They have subjective evaluation. They ask the patient, how are you feeling? How is it now? So they'll say that, my pain has reduced, and they grade the pain according to the subjective feeling. So there is nothing objective in it, no objective evidence that the turmeric actually reduces any disease condition or improves on any disease condition.
Can you please elaborate on the studies that have been done on turmeric? Has there been any randomized controlled trials done to find if turmeric is useful?
So I think people should understand that there are studies done on turmeric, but these studies actually don't mean anything when it comes to actually recommending turmeric for anything. I mean, you can go and have your Haldi doodh or water mixed with Haldi. I mean, you can have that. Nobody's going to say no to that. But know that that is not actually helping you. So whatever disease you have, it has its own natural history and self-limiting nature. So the cough and colds, which are mostly by viruses, they'll go away in 5 to 7 days time. And whether you have turmeric or not, it is going to go away in 5 to 7 days time. So turmeric did nothing. And whatever people believe that turmeric is doing for them for cough and cold or throat pain or whatever, these are just personal, subjective, experiential beliefs. They are more like psychological impact. It has nothing to do with the science of turmeric being useful. So there are studies which say that, and large studies. So people actually point me towards large randomized controlled trials, which are actually the highest, one of the highest grades of levels of evidence. You have randomized controlled trials showing that turmeric is useful for this pain and that pain, it reduces inflammatory markers, whatever. But when you look at the highest level of evidence, which is actually meta-analysis. So you have systematic reviews and meta-analysis, and if you look at every systematic review and meta-analysis, whatever they have written at the bottom, the conclusion part says that most of the studies on turmeric are actually poor methodology. It's a mixed bag. Some groups have used one particular dose of turmeric. Some groups have used another formulation of turmeric. Some groups have used turmeric along with some other medications. It's all a mixed bag of studies, because of which we cannot actually conclude that turmeric is actually useful or not. Which means that if I ask you, please tell me the dose of turmeric required to reduce knee pain in osteoarthritis, I'm sure you will have no answers to it. if I tell you, please tell me, if I ask you, please tell me the dose of turmeric that is required to reduce cough or cold in a child versus an adult, you will have no answers. If I ask you, what is the dose of turmeric that can actually improve or reduce or provide some anti-cancer effect when used along with anti-cancer medications, you will have no answers. Why? Because there are no actual really good studies done on turmeric, or the studies which are done on turmeric are actually not of good quality, and there is no reason for us to actually interpret those studies as having any usefulness. Now, because if you actually want to know if something is effective or not, and if something is safe in that particular effective dose, you need to have properly conducted, well-designed studies. And such studies are there in turmeric, and those studies actually show that turmeric is not useful. Now, when you look at everything together, good quality studies and low quality studies together, it's a complete confusion. Every study says that you need better studies. Every meta-analysis, every major systematic review says that you need better studies. So the better studies has been happening since decades, and it is not going to come, because what is happening with turmeric research is that you get all the benefits of turmeric inside the lab in cells and tissues, and never inside human studies. This is a fact.
What do international medical bodies have to say on the use of turmeric as a treatment option?
If turmeric was such an important treatment option, we have had 30 plus years of turmeric research happening. If it was such an important treatment option, why is it that none of the clinical societies recommend turmeric for any disease condition? You look at the Rheumatology Association in any country, the European Rheumatology Association, American Rheumatology Association, Indian Rheumatology Association, nobody recommends turmeric for arthritis. Their clinical guidelines and recommendations for treatment do not feature turmeric. You look at any cancer society guidelines, you look at the American Society of Oncology, you look at the European Oncology Societies, where do they recommend turmeric as an adjuvant or as an add-on or as a single therapeutic agent for any cancers? Nobody recommends it. Why? Because there is no evidence to use turmeric, and even if the evidence has been, people have studied or looked for evidence, they did not find any. This is the reason.
Why do you think you get so much hostility for talking against turmeric, especially when you talked from the side of science?
So when you say that my cold and cough improved with turmeric, or my pain went away with turmeric, or turmeric is well researched, it is the gift, the golden spice gift of India to the world and all, it's all okay, because you are just showing your nationalistic pride, and that's it. So if I say that turmeric is not beneficial for any disease condition as a preventive or a medicine, I'm talking purely from a scientific perspective. Nothing to do with being an anti-national, or one guy actually told me to go to Pakistan when I said that turmeric is not useful, and they do use turmeric in Pakistan also, by the way. And when I say that it is not useful, it is purely from the science perspective. But when you say that turmeric is helping me, or helping my neighbor, or helping my neighbor's dog or cat or whatever, that's just a personal experience or a personal story, and it is not the science in you speaking. It is some nationalistic pride or some cultural or traditional dogma that is making you say that. So everybody who comes with a response that turmeric is useful, please provide clinical evidences at level 5 or 6, which is like systematic reviews and meta-analysis, which actually provides us some evidence to recommend turmeric for any disease condition. I'll wait. There are no clinical society guidelines which recommend turmeric for any disease conditions. If you can point me towards one, I'll apologize to you. But there is none. There are a lot of researches done on turmeric, and none of these researches in humans have actually shown any benefit, and I don't think it will show any benefit, because this has been going on for too long and people have been wasting so much of money. So to substantiate everything that I have said, I'm going to put links on turmeric research and everything that I have spoken about here under this video, so you can also take a look at it.
People often say that even modern medicine uses medicines extracted from plants. Can we find something useful from the so-called traditional medicine systems?
I'm also going to say that it's good that we need to identify new molecules and new compounds for improving human health and reducing human disease burden. I mean, I am all for it, and I think traditional medicine is somewhere we need to look deep into, and maybe to identify new molecules and things like that. But the problem is that we are all stuck with that traditionality. Drug discovery is something that is totally different from just using traditional medicines. So you have to identify specific components that are useful, and those components have to be tested for effectiveness and safety.
It's great that you spoke about safety. Are there any harmful effects of taking too much curcumin or turmeric?
So turmeric is such a nice spice, right? So it flavors curries, everybody has it every day, so there is no problems with it. But there are problems with it. So when you actually take turmeric to an extent where you want it to cause some clinical benefit for you, that actually causes side effects also. So recently, the United States Drug-Induced Liver Injury Network actually brought out their study on turmeric-induced liver injury. So when you take turmeric in large quantities or over longer periods of time, that is going to actually harm your liver. So turmeric has known plant compounds or toxins that are liver toxic. And there have been cases where turmeric actually led to liver failure, and patients actually went in for liver transplantation because they have been consuming turmeric for longer duration in higher amounts. Because you have to consume turmeric in longer duration and higher amounts for it to have some clinical benefit. So there are these new formulations which are like nano turmeric particles, nanoparticle based turmeric formulations, pepper mixed turmeric, which actually you have to take lesser amounts but they will absorb more. So even that is problematic, because when you don't actually know what level of turmeric in the body is clinically useful and what level of turmeric in the body is actually going to harm you. So this distinction is still not done yet. So without that, how can you actually take turmeric supplements for longer duration or for a longer period of time every day? Because when you don't have that data, that unknown part is what is going to harm you. So a lot of new studies have come which actually shows that consumption of turmeric in large quantities and over longer duration actually harms you, and it can cause liver injuries and a lot of other problems. And because of this, the Italian government has actually put a black label warning on turmeric supplements and said that every person who markets or promotes turmeric should not do so on the basis of any clinical benefits. You have to put a black label warning saying that turmeric is going to harm you and there is no use for it, and you're on your own. If you want to use it, but then you'll have to reap what you sow. So the Italian government has come out with a warning label for turmeric, and I think more and more people will start identifying turmeric liver injury and other adverse events of turmeric in the near future, and because of which turmeric will soon have black label warnings in a lot of countries except India, because we don't bother about black label warnings. We just want people to be happy with tradition and cultures and nationalistic pride and things like that. For us, science is right at the bottom, everything else is right on top.
Well, Dr. Abhi, I'm sure people are not going to stop taking turmeric as a medicine from tonight because they heard you or me. I'm also sure that I would now get a lot of personal experience under this video saying turmeric has helped them. What do you have to say to those who are going to continue thinking that turmeric is good for them?
So everybody who wants to try out turmeric supplements, please know that the decision to try out the turmeric supplement is completely up to you, because nobody recommends it. No sane doctor would recommend a turmeric supplement for you. If you want to be a guinea pig and see how turmeric works inside you, for you, against you, it is up to you. But I won't recommend turmeric for any of my patients. In fact, initially when I was starting as a senior consultant about 3-4 years back, I did a pilot trial on turmeric supplements, and I had to stop that trial because it was harming my liver disease patients. So I stopped the trial, I completely chucked it out of the window. No more protocols on turmeric anymore in my unit, so I don't use it anymore. And these are important aspects of turmeric research, because you should know when you should not use something, rather than looking at various conditions where you can actually use it. So most important is to do no harm. And turmeric supplements, even though you might feel proud about turmeric in your country, in India, I'm sorry to say that it has no evidence for any clinical benefits or any preventive benefits. So the Haldi doodh you're drinking right now is actually not helping you, but the doodh, the milk is actually helping you, but not the turmeric. And I think people should break away from these traditionalities and traditional thinking and progress with science, so that the coming generations will also drop all these nonsense traditions and cultures and then move on with scientific progress. Because when science progresses inside you, your nation also progresses, and that actually impacts the community and society at large, because then we grow together. But instead of that, you want to actually waste more money and time and resources on doing more research on turmeric, and that's actually quite sad. And for everyone who says that they have experienced benefits with turmeric, please stop talking about your personal experiences in a scientific forum, in a scientific discussion, because that's actually the lowest quality of evidence, which we don't even bother about. So I stopped responding to all the personal anecdotes that people bring about turmeric, because it doesn't matter what they feel or not. Somebody who has taken turmeric with a cold may not have actually had any improvements in the cold. A few people might have had, but the cold will go away on its own when it has to go, with or without turmeric. So the personal experiences don't matter in turmeric. The large number of studies that you actually put under my tweet as a response don't matter, because most of those studies are poor quality, small numbers, underpowered, and they have used different formulations of turmeric, different dosing of turmeric. Nobody knows what the right dose is, nobody knows what the wrong dose is, nobody knows how turmeric actually benefits anybody in any disease condition. So those studies that you say that it is well researched are all completely wrong, and wrong in the sense to bring as a response to my tweet. And the last part is that safety. Please be sure that turmeric is not a medicine, and if you actually take too much of turmeric as considering it as a medicine, it is going to harm you more. So you have no benefits, and you're going to get the harm, and that is actually not good medicine. That's bad medicine actually.
Last one, doc. There are many modern medicine doctors who support turmeric as a medicine. Why is that?
A couple of days back, a doctor, an MBBS doctor on Twitter was very violently, aggressively attacking my tweet on turmeric, saying that so many studies have been done, everything is fine, it's great, what are you saying, you're just a moron, you're stupid. So I just said that he's an MBBS doctor and maybe I missed something. So I went back and checked his profile and everything. He's a legit MBBS doctor, and he's actually writing for his USMLE step 1 and all that. Legit guy. And I went back and checked my turmeric studies again, and it all shows that turmeric is not useful. So I went back to his profile and saw that this guy is a co-founder, or he and his mom runs an Ayurvedic website known as Ashwata, right? And they sell turmeric supplements. So I understood that the reason why he defended turmeric was not because of the science or betterment of patient healthcare. It was because he wanted to defend his business. So a lot of people who actually wants to mislead the patient or the general population regarding food as medicine, such as turmeric, they actually have some vested interest in saying so. So somebody is selling or has a website selling turmeric supplements. If I say that turmeric is not useful, and that person actually agrees with me, that means his business is going to go down. So a lot of people who promote these alternative medicines and alternative food as medicine, they actually have some other vested interest and it has nothing to do with the patient care. It has everything to do with the business of healthcare. So be aware of such people also. So if somebody actually says that turmeric is useful, it has helped them, and they have these data saying that it is useful, look at three things. One is that if that person is actually having some vested interest in selling turmeric. Second is that the person is actually a nationalistic, common lay person who believes in traditions and culture more than science. And third is that the person is actually a troll. He just wants to make the waters murky and muddy, and that's it, and nothing, and there is no actual realistic conversation going to happen when people just want to mess things up with you. And so stay away from those kind of responses and those kind of people who tweet such responses, because it is not going to improve our understanding or teach us anything new.
Well, that was funny, and they call us the agents of the big pharma. Anyways, what are your parting thoughts on this subject?
So I think this brief the brief discussion on turmeric actually helped you a bit to understand why turmeric is not beneficial and why we should not have any more research on turmeric or curcumin for that matter, because none of these have been identified as useful for any disease condition. So to conclude, turmeric or curcumin is not recommended by any clinical diseases society in the world or in India for any disease condition as a treatment or a preventive. If turmeric was actually useful, people would actually recommend it. I would recommend it. I would definitely prescribe it for my patients if at all there was some effectiveness in cancer treatment, in arthritis, in infections. Come on, we need good molecules, we need good compounds for our patients to get better. But that is not happening with turmeric, and this is a fact. I think people should just cope with the fact that it is not useful rather than trying to defend it without any base. And I hope this video helped you understand this aspect of turmeric. If you have any questions or if you have any abuses, please put it down in the comment section, and I'll see if I can reply to that. Thank you and take care.
Wow, that certainly was an eye-opening session with Liverdoc. Thanks a lot, Dr. Abby, for putting aside your time to explain in detail about the effectiveness and harmful effects of consuming turmeric in large doses as a treatment or cure for diseases or for general well-being. I think it is very clear that turmeric should only be used as a flavoring agent and not as a medicine. Please share this video for the benefit of others, and do like, comment and subscribe if you're new here. Don't forget to visit Abby's channel, The Liverdoc, for more videos such as this. I shall be back real soon with another interesting video. Until then, it's bye-bye from Pale Blue Thoughts.